Hi, Hayden here, and this video is going to be a video about making a video with a cell phone and trying to get professional results from it. Except for the echo that you're going to have here, and I'll tell you why. It's because we just wrapped up a video right now about this light that's above there, the vanity light, right? It's really a shop light that we're using as a vanity light because it's kind of sleek, it's easy to maintain, take care of. It's LED, so it doesn't put out any heat. Installation was pretty good. Made a video about that and stuff like that. So while I was making that video, of course, I noticed that there's a mirror right here. Naturally, it's a vanity and a vanity light. What I did is I said, well, why don't I make a video about using my cell phone in a more professional manner to get the job done? So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm going to do a follow-up with this video here. So what I want you to really pay attention to is actually the background here. In the mirror there is the rig that I'm using to make this video. What we're going to notice here is I have a microphone on. The microphone plugs into the side. I can see the wire in my monitor, so even on a small screen, you should be able to see that. There's a wire there, a black wire. That's the microphone, right? The microphone wire is this black wire on the side. The white wire going up the other side here, if you look right here on the side of the phone, not where my hand is, but right back there, on that side, there's a white mark, okay? That white mark, and maybe you can see this white cable here, right? That's for the USB power. And if you look at the orange cable here, you'll notice that little wall wart, the bright white, you can definitely see that. This is the USB to power connector. So this is USB, this plugs into the power cord, and this allows me, and this is the best thing about the cell phone ever, while I have the power going to the cell phone to power it up, so I have enough power for the video, it also will recharge the cell phone. So my cell phone will actually recharge while I'm shooting video. No other camera I have, professional, consumer camera, no other camera that I have will power itself up and recharge itself at the same time while it's connected. The ZTE Axon 7 and other cell phones should do that. So if you have your USB connector and a battery pack that can recharge your phone, you may not be able to recharge your phone and power it up at the same time, but your cell phone might be using the internal battery and the external battery might be charging up your battery at the same time, so you don't lose that much battery power. Also, I just noticed that the light down here goes from red to green. I've noticed it a while ago while I'm plugged in. And I really like to be plugged in to the wall every chance I get whenever I'm doing video, because a battery is, for me, a battery is always going to go bad at the worst possible time, right? So I want to avoid that. So with this one here, I use a Rode microphone, R-O-D-E. I made a video about it before. I can't remember the name. I think it's a SmartLav. That's it, SmartLav 1 or something like that, or SmartLav Plus or something. It's a SmartLav microphone from Rode, R-O-D-E, and the SC1 that keeps popping into my head is the extension cord. Because this thing here has a cord that goes from here down to about my waist, so I need this long extension cord, which tends to get knotted up nice and neat every now and then. So I actually hang this thing right on my tripod here. So hopefully it doesn't stick up in the picture, right? But you know, it hangs on my microphone, on my tripod, right? So that's the other thing is, let's go ahead and go shaky cam for a second. I want to show you one more thing here. Of course, I have a quick release mount down here. And then this black part here above, and that little knot up there, that little knob, that is the screw that tightens up, loosens and tightens the camera to the quick release, to its own plate, which is like a C-clamp. It's kind of like a big letter C kind of thing. And just, you know, it squeezes down lightly, has little cushions on the top and bottom. Not like we'll be able to see those very well. And then it holds the camera in place, right? And then the lens of the camera is over here. But I'm looking way over here. Anyway, so, and it also has, if you look right here, maybe you'll see at the bottom of the video, this little white line bouncing around. That's me talking. That's called a VU meter. So this particular camera has, and by the way, this is Open Camera software. I should give a shout out to Open Camera. It's Open Camera software allows me all this stuff. All this stuff is built into Open Camera. So it has the rule of thirds. Let me get that camera over there closer again. You got to be able to see this thing, right? Hopefully. If you look at the screen, there's like a tic-tac-toe board on the screen. If you look at that, hopefully it's steady enough for you to see it, even on a small screen. So that tic-tac-toe thing is a rule of thirds. Helps you with framing your shot, all right? Try to get things in the center, over to the right a little bit, over to the left a little bit, you know, top, left, stuff like that. So it helps with framing. It's very professional. I like it very much. And then has all the options over here on the side that you can see it's going on. This red light up, the red light up at the top up here is really a lock button. So you can lock the exposure down, because if you don't lock the exposure down, well, if you do and you change the lighting, things change pretty rapidly, right? And if you unlock the exposure, right, and you change the lighting, it adjusts. All right, now the problem with the adjusting light is that when the camera is doing auto exposure, and lock that in, there we go. Okay, so when the camera is doing auto exposure, maybe you noticed that just now, maybe see the lighting changes, but if you lock it down, the lighting won't change. So if I'm blocking the light or something else or something's going on, the lighting stays pretty much the way you had it. Also, there is a, let me open up that again. I can also, with open camera software, I can make it darker. If it's too bright, I can make it brighter. If it's not bright enough, go one more. I like that, that's good. And touch the screen somewhere, and then lock the exposure. Okay? So I like the way things look. So the lighting should look consistent, shouldn't change around a lot. The way I look on the screen shouldn't change, you know, with the light change and all that, unless I change it, right? Now, because I locked it, if the lighting changes, it was locked into the previous lighting, right? So I like that, you know, so that's the way I do it. That's the way I set it up. Now, the other thing you notice is, of course, the thing's on a tripod. Now, it's a fluid head motion. Fluid head means you get pretty good motion, right? So if I want to do a, you know, kind of a panning shot, I can do that, right? Manually, if you have one of those DJI, Osmo, whatever, if you have all these electronic gimbals and everything, they can be programmed to do it for you, right? You can do tilts, right? And now you can see another thing here. There's other things you can do. Depending on which way you point your legs on your camera or whatever, you can do other things. Like here's a tilt, right? So you can do a tilt like that. Another thing you can do is if you control, you know, I have the legs are kind of pointing out straight like that, so it's flat. And the reason why I do that all the time, that's so I can put the camera right up to a table. I'm at a desk, a conference desk or something like that. So I want to get my camera close to the desk. And the reason for that is because I sit behind the camera and I sit right next to a leg. So basically a leg of the camera, a tripod is coming right by my leg, and I pretty much sit, you know, real snuggled up real close to the camera. And I don't want anybody to trip over everything, and unless they're going to trip over me, they're not going to trip over my equipment. I also try to hide my cables to the best of my ability, and that's why I use bright orange cables for my power. I used to get black to kind of blend in with the carpet and stuff like that, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I work with attorneys. It's crazy. I don't want an attorney tripping over my black wire. So I got bright safety orange wires for my power, and I try to sit really close to where it's at, so I make sure everybody's safe and secure. But anyway, here's another thing you can do. Because I got the camera legs pointed out towards the thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a push-in shot. Now, I can't zoom really with the camera. I can do electronic zoom or stuff like that, but it's electronic. What you want is, you want the optical zoom. Now, these cameras don't have it. They don't have the capability to have that. It's a really thin camera, right? But I can do a push-in, which is more professional. So here's a push-in right there, right? Now, my camera's getting a little bit lower, but that's a push-in. It's kind of like a zoom, isn't it, right? So I put my foot behind my tripod, because my tripod might start sliding out from under me a little bit, but there's a push-in, right? And now, again, this rule of thirds is helpful when you're doing that. See the tile where the tile stops on the wall back here, right? I can set up my line on that tile so that I can keep basically the same framing, right? I hear my foot, so I hear my foot going on that, but you can try to keep the same framing and stuff like that. Now the camera is going to kind of go up and down a little bit when I'm doing something like that. The camera's going to go, it's going to rise initially, and then it's going to start falling, right? Starts going down, right? Like that. Okay, so but you can do that. You can do a push-in like that. Another thing you can do is, and be careful with this one here, you don't have a steady cam. You don't have one of those gimbals or something like that. A tripod's a heavy thing. Now, a steady cam, by the way, the steady cam by the company that owns that and everything else, they're very heavy. It's a body-mounted system, and you need to be in good shape. You know, definitely need to have strong legs, and you're going to want to be, you know, don't have your legs like that. You want to bend your knees a little bit. Bend your knees, please. So you want to bend your knees a little bit, but you're supporting the weight. I mean, that thing's on all that stuff, so it doesn't move and everything looks great and everything. But a human is holding that thing up, and the thing is not light. The camera's heavy, the system's heavy. They have weights on it to help make sure everything's steady, so they're adding more weight to it on top of that with actual weights. So I saw a demonstration of this thing many, many years ago, and it was incredible, and I couldn't believe how heavy, and they had this special mount. The gentleman, the camera operator, had to actually lift up and put this whole thing on a mount so he could get out of it, okay? And this stand would hold the Steadicam system. But if you grab your tripod right here, if you raise your tripod up a little bit and lift it up, you can get some pretty good steady shots, okay? By holding your camera up, you know, by doing it that. Now, if you shorten the legs up, right? You shorten the legs up, but you do want to spread your legs out, you know, spread the tripod legs. If you shorten it up, you can still get a pretty good artificial Steadicam shot that way. It's kind of a neat thing to do. It's fun to do, actually. It's kind of enjoyable. It's a fun thing to get done, right? And as far as leveling goes, the open camera software, the rule of thirds, they have actually options, different things you can do. But if your camera is not necessarily level, right, you can get it level by using those lines. And then some of the software, I can't remember if open camera has it or not, but some of the software will have, or some of the cameras, some of the cell phones will have an option where they will automatically level, right? They will decide what level was, and they will level your shot for you. My software, my editing software will do that as well. I don't like to use that. I like to try to get, you know, you really want to get the best shot. You want to get as close to the finished shot that you want when you're shooting it, because the more work you do up front, the less work you have to do in the back end. And I see a lot of people doing editing on their videos and everything else, and my hat's off to them. My hat's off to everybody, because I don't really wear hats, but unless I'm working outside. But the fact of the matter is, these people are doing a lot of work. They're doing just tons and tons and tons of work in editing, and you know, as much time as it takes you to shoot the video, take 3 or 4 times that amount of time when you're editing a video, right? So most of my videos are actually not even edited. I might do a jump cut. I might speed things up or slow things down or something like that. But you know, I don't do a whole lot of editing on my videos. But to use a cell phone to shoot a professional looking video is perfectly acceptable. It's not hard to do. The little clamp to hold my phone was very inexpensive. I bought a cheap one, maybe 12 bucks, right? But for $25, $50 or something like that, you can get a really, really nice one. As a matter of fact, part of this system broke, okay? It fell and it broke, and I was like, oh, lovely. It was a way to change the angle of the camera, okay? That part of it broke, but this part works great, and I have a tripod, so that part's still doing fine, so I'm happy with it. The professional tripod I've had for many, many years. It's just done a phenomenal job for me professionally, and now in YouTube videos as well. The microphone was an extra purchase that I made for, that looks funny. But the microphone was a special purchase just for the cell phone, so I can use the cell phone to shoot videos with. The power cord is just a regular power cord that comes with it, nothing special there. And this, you know, the safety power cord thing allows me to plug more than one thing into it. It's got 3 plugs, and the reason why I got this one here, it goes off on different angles. It goes off on different angles like that, so you can plug things in case something's a little bit wide. All right, so that's why I got that. But if worse came to worse, I would also throw a power strip out. I also bring power strips with me when I go to shoot videos in case somebody else needs to plug into some wall power, right? Or house power, as we call it. So anyways, I think that'll wrap this up. Do me a favor, if you have any questions, comments, ideas, suggestions, or anything, do me a favor, drop a comment below, let me know. Let me know you came by to say hi. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like this video. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate the growth on the network. And until I catch you in the next video, take care and be well.